Many record collectors use Kallax shelving units from IKEA to store their record collections, but you have to be very careful, especially with the larger units. If you don't brace them properly, this can happen. In today's video, I will show you how to avoid a similar disaster. Hi, my name is Frank. Welcome back to channel 33 RPM, your channel for vinyl, gear, and more. That image I showed you of that IKEA unit collapsed and fallen over, thankfully was not mine. That is an image I found on the internet, but it is an example of what can happen if you are not careful. Those IKEA units, particularly the taller ones, are prone to tipping over. That's why it is so important to make sure that you brace them properly. Let's head out to the garage and I will show you how I customize IKEA shelving to store my record collection safely. All right, let's start assembling this IKEA unit. This is a 2x4 Kallax shelving unit, and by 2x4 I mean it is 2 cubes by 4 cubes in size. I purchased this from IKEA for 80 bucks Canadian, but the prices vary depending on where you live in the world. Kallax units are available in a variety of configurations, including 2x2, 4x4, 1x4, and so on and so on. They're also available in a few different colors, including white, as you see here, plus black, brown, and gray wood effect. There may be more, but those are all that I am aware of. The thing about these units is that the cubes are the perfect size to store records, which has made them extremely popular among record collectors. The Kallax line is similar to the discontinued Expedit line, though if you ask me, Kallax is not quite as good. The Expedit shelving was a little larger, which I will show you later in this video, and seemed to be a little more solid, but I don't know. I am gonna go through this assembly portion rather quickly because my intention with this video is not to do a tutorial on how to put together IKEA furniture. Rather, I want to focus on making it better. A couple of tips I will pass on though. If assembling shelving on a dirty surface, like I'm doing here on the garage floor, place cardboard or something similar on the ground under the shelving to protect it as you are working on it. Also, I hate those IKEA wrenches that comes with all the IKEA furniture. Instead of using that, I use my ratchet set. That works much better and gets the job done way faster. Assembly of this IKEA shelving unit took me about half an hour. As you can see here, just putting the final touches on, putting the last board in, making sure it all works, and it is all done. The next thing I am going to do is fasten 1x3s to the back of the unit. I used 1x4s in the past as well, but these 1x3s from Home Depot are a bit cheaper. A word of caution, be careful to get your measurements correct. I've messed this up before. As my dad says, measure twice, cut once. The 1x3s, which we're going to fasten onto the back of the cabinet, serve 3 purposes. First, they provide some additional stability and strength. Second, they act as a bumper or a stopper. If you have a piece of wood behind each row of shelving, it prevents records from being pushed too far back. Third, this gives you a surface to easily screw into the back wall. I will show you that coming up. So before I screw these in, one more thing I should mention, just make sure you have the boards on the right side, the correct side of the shelving, just to achieve your goal. Let's give it a shot. I am fastening the 1x3 pieces of wood to the back of the shelving using wood screws. These wood screws are 1.5 inches long. When you're drilling, go slow so you don't splinter the wood. If you start to encounter splintering or wood cracking, stop what you are doing. And then pull the screw out and pre-drill some holes and screw the screws in. I hope that makes sense. Just take take it slow. You don't want to ruin anything. And it's really as simple as that. So we got them in mostly okay. Again, using just screws I had in my cupboards here out in the garage. A couple of them I screwed in a little bit too fast and they kind of split the wood just a little bit, but nothing serious. And I reinforced a couple of these with double screws. Anyway, let's stand this up now and see how it looks. I'm in need of a haircut, which I'm actually getting tomorrow. Anyway, so check this out. We have stood this up, and this thing is solid. I mean, it's wobbling a bit just because I have this on some uneven cardboard. But this thing looks really, really good, and this ain't going nowhere. So let's take this IKEA shelving unit and bring it to the basement. I probably should have asked for help getting this and hauling the shelving unit into the basement, but whatever, I got it done. These are not particularly heavy. The 2x4 shelving unit is going to replace this smaller 1x4 one I have here, so I'm going to quickly just pull everything out of it and carefully, very carefully remove those records. As you can see, I had some wood strapping at the back of this one, so remove those screws and just, as I said, get this unit out of the way. I didn't mention this earlier, but I actually cut a couple additional pieces of wood. I'm going to put that on the ground. And again, that's just because, as I mentioned, the Kallax units are a little smaller than the Expedite units. That's an Expedite on the right, and that's a Kallax on the left. By putting the wood underneath, it raises it slightly. So this fits into place pretty nice. There's a little bit of a gap on that side, but pretty happy with that. And again, we put the 1x3s underneath to raise this up a little bit. There's still a little bit of a drop between the old unit and the new unit, but it's pretty small, and that's as good as it's gonna get. So let's fasten this to the wall and see how that goes. I mentioned this before, but I can't stress enough. It's important, it's critically important to make sure you screw these into a wall stud. I'm doing that here using 3-inch screws. So those ones went in pretty easy. Next, you want to screw this side of it, and you want to make sure you get both sides into a stud. In standard homes, at least in this part of the world, wall studs are 16 inches on center apart. So I measured 16 inches to 16 inches. I made a little mark right there. So if all goes according to plan, it should go right into a wall stud. Let's try it out. And it did go according to plan. I hit the wall studs in all those cases, which was great. And then I proceeded to do that on every level. So this thing ain't gonna budge. One more thing, it is very important that you stand your Kallax shelving units the correct way. This is especially important once you get into the larger units, the 4x4s and whatnot. You want the long shelving boards to be horizontal and the short boards vertical. In other words, your records should be sitting on the long boards. The combination of standing these units incorrectly and failing to fasten them to the wall is where things can go really wrong. I feel bad for the guy with the photo of his collection that had collapsed, but let's try to prevent something like that from happening again. Now, in addition to moving the records around, this is a good opportunity if you're doing this to kind of go through your gear, clean it all up. In my case, I got to move it over to take more advantage of the space I have. And that's really the beauty of this whole project. Things are really getting squished in here before. So by adding some extra shelving, I'm giving my collection some room to breathe. It's kind of funny because I was telling myself, I was lying to myself saying that once the shelves I had were full, that was it, no more records. But obviously that is not true. So now I'm good for at least a little while. I'm hoping anyway. Once I grow out of this, I can always stack another bit of shelving on top here and I can make it work. But this should really set me up for a while. As I said, the collection has more room to breathe, and I'm really, really happy with the way things turned out. All right, 33ers, how do you store your records? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below. I hope you dug this video. Until next time, keep on spinning.